This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Whitmer here, and welcome into another podcast of The Wrecking Crew here on MVP Sports. And Tim, can we have a little moment of silence or a little RIP to the Spider-Man? Because, correct me if I'm wrong,
last time we can do it.
Wasn't that his thing?
Yep.
Wasn't that the man's thing? And if you're wondering what it was, is Chris Morel not on the team anymore?
We lost our favorite player.
Cubs fans in general
we lost the Wrecking Crew's favorite player.
Yeah, we lost our favorite player. We're gonna get into him. We got some trades to dive into today.
Sure.
First off, we're back after our we were back. We watched the Brewers game. The Cubs Brewers game. We didn't just watch a Brewers game. The Cubs were playing in that game. No way was I watching a Brewer game that I did not have money on. But
we were just streaming.
we live streamed the Cub Brewer game. Now we're back with our official podcast. This is our now scheduled week for it. Tim, we're going to talk trades. We're going to look at the outlook for this season. Before we get into everything, though, with housekeeping, Tim, I have some brand new news that has not been... It's been said on the MVP Entertainment channel already, but this is the first time the MVP, anyone who's not subscribed to both, will be hearing this news.
Uh-oh.
Tim,
kids.
MVP Sports is now on Rumble.
Woo!
Do you know what that means? Do you want to take a guess at what that means, Tim?
Bigger audience... bigger platform, bigger podcasting.
Well, the reason why it's a bigger podcasting, Tim, is here's how it's going to work now. Censored podcasts with all the bleeps and the bloops will be right here on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, you know what? I like the bleeps and the bloops. I don't like to hear the swears. Nothing's going to change for you. Also on our podcast services, nothing will change. The bleeps and the bloops will be there. However, on Rumble, uncensored podcast. So if Dave or Tim or Soapy or I or JD or Jake swears, well, guess what? You're going to hear them on Rumble. Uncensored podcast. So it's going to be the same thing as the YouTube channel, except those podcasts will be what they used to be, the uncensored version before YouTube got its panties in a jumble and said you can't swear no more.
Probably have to bleep that.
What, panties in a jumble? The YouTube overlords will not like me.
Hey, be careful.
They will not like me. But yes, we're on Rumble. So Uncensored Podcast, you can go over to our Rumble page for those moving forward. But housekeeping is normal. If you're not in the Discord, join it. Greatest community in the universe. If you want to support us, Patreon. You can watch these live recordings live and a ton of great perks. Both of those, Discord and Patreon, are down in the description, along with all of our socials. You can also leave a comment, hit that like button. That sub button really helps us out. But you guys know the deal when it comes to all that stuff. But Tim, first thing we're talking about today on the show is the biggest trade that happened to the Cubs. First time we're talking about it. I know people say, guys, you're behind the 8 ball. It happened on the 30th. Where you guys?
We only podcast twice a month.
We do. We podcast only twice a month, but hey.
Hold on, let's try out this Rumble. Get off our asses.
See, here's the thing. Does asses count?
I don't know. It'll be funny to hear a bunch of beeps and go, does that beep count?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that counts. I thought you were going to I thought you were going to drop an F word already.
No. I've trained myself. I've gotten really good. That's why this news is kind of like, oh, well.
Tim's like, I wish you would have done this like years ago.
Yeah.
Also, Tim, I'm kind of sad that you didn't notice, but I will tell everyone before we get into it. There's a huge elephant in the room right now. I need a haircut.
Oh.
No, okay. It's you might notice something different about my setup.
You got a new chair?
I got a different chair. I got a chair that now rocks a little bit. I can also do this, Tim. Watch. I'm going to click that off. Yeah, I'm leaning
that's a
back.
power
I'm
sleep.
leaning back now.
Power lean.
I need a new chair, Tim, because my fat is Scott Steiner would say my fat asses. Yeah, they it broke my other chair to where it couldn't turn.
Oh no, your big
Now
butt broke it?
now I have one that turns, and now I have it. This one should support like up to 500 pounds, I think. So I think I'm safe. If I break this chair, we got problems. We got problems if I'm breaking this chair, because I think it's like 400 to 500 pounds is the limit for this chair. So if it breaks because of my weight, we got definite problems, Tim.
Yeah.
Forgot to say that off the rip. I got a new chair. It's still red, though, because I love red. But Tim, the trade that we're talking about, the main trade, some people are happy, some people are upset, is the Cubs acquire Isaac Paredes from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Congrats on saying his name right. That's impressive.
And I didn't have to look at my notes either. I didn't have to. I glanced down with my eyes, but from this angle, I can't read what I wrote. So it was like, we ball.
And I've known who he was for a couple of years.
Yep.
I just feel like I guess I've never heard his name said, because I'm like, oh, we got Isaac Paredes. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like when he's not on your team, you don't focus on how to say the name.
Yeah.
Now he's one of
Like,
you. It's like, I got to learn this name.
Exactly. Yeah.
But Tim, what we had to give up was we give up Christopher Morel.
Yep.
Along with two minor leaguers. The minor leaguers now, we know what they are. They're right-handers Hunter Biggie, I think that's how you say, or Big Gay. It's Bigge, Biggie, and Ty Johnson. They're going to the Rays. Now, Tim, before we get into the stats, before we get into the small sample size we've seen from this guy, Christopher Morel's only played 4 games for the Rays. Isaac's only played, what is it, 7 games for the Cubs?
Tonight will be 8.
Tonight will be 8. Before we get into all that, I got to ask you one question. When this trade happened, there was huge outrage from Cub fans. The Cubs will rue the day that they made this trade. Everyone was upset that I saw. Well, it was kind of two courts. It was really upset that Christopher Morel was not on this team anymore. But then there was the other side that was like, yeah, well, you know, Isaac, he's good. He's got control. We've got him for 3 more years. I will ask you, are people right? Or is it is it right, but do you connect with the people that are upset that Christopher Morel was in this deal?
I mean, emotionally, yeah, of course. I mean, there's no secret that he was our favorite player on the team. Wish we could have got him on the podcast. I was working hard, but you know, he doesn't. I was trying to guess his email, and that's not really a great way to try to contact somebody. But there he played. He didn't. It's so hard to talk about because I love that guy so much. But he didn't meet expectations yet this year. He was a very streaky player, much like the Cubs have been as a team. And there was some defense that was lacking there that Paredes is obviously an upgrade on. And I think we've seen that a little bit so far in the small sample size that we've seen. No, I mean, if we're talking emotionally, yeah, I'm right on board. I'm outraged. I wish we didn't do it. I wish we would have kept him, re-signed him, and developed him into a player. If we're talking logically, it feels lateral at this moment. Yeah. And I don't know if on the money side of it, it's easier because Paredes has already got a contract, and we would have to pay Morel, I think, in the offseason. And that's hard to determine, you know. It doesn't feel like this is a push for the playoffs type trade, though. It's, again, like it seems like a lateral move, and that's where I'm scratching my head a lot on it. I know I also at the same token, I know plenty of people that are not in on Morel. They think he's all hype, a lot of sizzle and no steak, that kind of thing. A lot of that is just old heads that don't like players that celebrate and flip their bats stuff too. So, if again, everything, if people's opinions are more than 50% emotional, like how do you really determine how the fans should actually think and what's realistic about this team? It's done. It's over with. We better make the best of it, But when I saw that, I think it was Sunday.
Yep.
It was such a gut punch. And I was about to text you right away, but I couldn't. I didn't want to have the conversation. I wanted to pretend like it didn't happen. Never mind. I won't say that.
Well, I'll jump in, and like for me, I was at work, so I was like on the air at work, like, hey, doing my job, selling sports memorabilia, and my co-host was like, oh, Cubs got Isaac Paredes, and right away I'm like, yeah, let's go, go. This is the deal I want. And then he's like, oh, Christopher Morel's gone, and like it was. I'm gonna be honest, for me, and this might be a heel take from Ricky. It wasn't a huge gut punch to me. It was one of those where it's like, man, I hate to see you go, but I understand why you had to leave. And you hit the nail on the you hit the nail on the head. Christopher Morel, to me, in my mind, much like Javi Baez, to where it was like Javi Baez when he got traded out of the big three, that was the one where it was like, I love you, Javi. But the other two hurt more. Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo hurt way more than Javi Baez getting traded. Although Javi was the one I loved more. And it was just because of Christopher Morel, just like Javi, celebrates. Their guys wear their emotions on their sleeve.
Yeah, and that's what fans can get behind.
And fans can get behind it, you're right. But Tim, the thing that I look at here and why I'm like, I'm not mad. Like, Christopher Morel, you did a great job. Great job for this team. Did you do an amazing job? Did you do a perfect job? No. There's a reason why you got traded. You can't play defense. That's the biggest thing. If Christopher Morel could play defense, he's not getting traded. The other thing, and Tim, this part's not Christopher Morel's fault. But what did you and I, when we did that podcast of who should we trade for, who should we go get? The one thing you and I talked about of what does this team need? We need guys with control. Guys that aren't just going to be like, the big name was like, oh, Pete Alonso. He'll only be here for like half a year. Oh, Vlad Guerrero Jr. He's only going to be here for half a year. Isaac, we've got 3 years of control after this. The Rays avoided arbitration this year. We've got 3 more years of arbitration with him before he even becomes a free agent. Christopher Morel, we would have entered what? It would have been pre-arbitration, then 1 year of arbitration. So, like, I guess you could say you're right, lateral move, but also it's in the sense of the Cubs in general. Who do they want to give their money to? Do they want to trade for an Isaac? A guy who, in the long run, I know right now, probably not the best. I mean, in 7 games, he's batting, what, a $111, which is terrible. 6 strikeouts. It's only 7 games, though. It's only 7 games.
What you can say for him that you can't really say for Morel this season is you can put Paredes in the 3-hole and feel confident. He's a guy that he's just got experience. He's got great plate appearances. He hasn't really had that great of a season with the Cubs so far, but hey, it's been what, 30
7
at-bats?
games. 7 games, you're right. 29 at bats. So 30 basically, like you said.
Yeah. He'll figure it out. I don't see a point this year that I would feel comfortable picking Morel over somebody else to bat third in this lineup. And Paredes is not going to do it every day. They got Suzuki in yesterday, I think, and then they always have Happ in the back pocket. But he does just feel like he feels like a solid low floor player.
Yep.
Maybe not high ceiling, but where Morel was pretty chaotic.
Where you look at their career stats up to this point, where Morel's been, I'm trying to even see. So Morel in his career has had about 1,100 at bats. Isaac has had about almost 1,400 at bats. Okay. So more at bats for Isaac. Career wise, Isaac is a 231 hitter, 69 home runs, 320 hits. 209 RBIs, 178 runs. Morel, 227 batting average, 62 home runs, 259 hits. Let's see, 163 runs, 170 RBIs. So, like, I could see if, like what you said, if someone said, guys, this is just a lateral move, I could see, like, okay, I could see where you're coming with this. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's a minor upgrade, and we have more control. Like, the potential for Isaac is greater than Christopher Morel in my mind.
Ooh. You're gonna hear people sounding off in the comments about that one, bud.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah, no, I get
feel
it.
like because let's even look at ages. Isaac is 25, gonna turn 26 after the season in February.
I love that. I love that he's a young guy that we have control over. Like you keep saying, we got that contract control. Yeah, I mean,
Morel just turned 25, so Morel's a year younger than Isaac.
I mean, if Morel was just a little bit less charismatic, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Or not nearly in the same vein as we're doing right now. Yeah. It's just because we liked him. That's the gut punch. But no, I think the Cubs won the trade.
I don't think we can say we won the trade yet, because if either of those two minor leaguers pan out to be something, and Isaac doesn't, then that'll be a different story. But like, it's early to be like who won, who lost.
Fair enough.
Especially with like Morel, the first game he was in Tampa, home run, and I'm like, he's gonna hit a lot of home run. He's gonna hit a lot of home runs in that indoor stadium, and he's gonna look really good.
But bat 170, you know.
Yeah, but bat 170.
He's the new Adam Dunn.
Is that what Christopher Morel is? The new Adam Dunn. But like the one thing you mentioned that I do agree with, like tonight we play the Twins.
Imanaga.
And they have Imanaga's on the mound, but it should be a great game, by the way. Imanaga versus Pablo Lopez.
15 minutes from us, but yeah.
But like tonight they have Isaac playing third base. Oh, that allows Cody to be the DH. So it's like, to me, this adds more versatility where Morel's in the lineup, Morel is DH. Where in this case, if we want to give this person a sit or that one a sit, take a game for here, you can move things around. Maybe Isaac plays the DH. Maybe he plays third. Like, hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast. You have more of a like versatile lineup than just, DH, that's Morel. Well, what does that do for Cody or Bush? And I think that was another thing that came into it is we got three guys where their position is first base. And what Cody's is outfield, but with PCA out there, we're not going to put Cody in center anymore.
Not anymore.
Like, no. PCA is our center fielder.
Yeah. For now, yeah.
So it's just there's more versatility with this team now.
Well, absolutely. It was a revolving door of who was going to play third base when it was Madrigal or Wisdom or sometimes they threw Horner over there. You know, there's another guy, Mastroboni would play over there. Yep, and it's all because they couldn't trust Morel at third. And what's kind of funny is, that kind of like mix and match chess game play style, we were sold that that's Craig Counsell's bread and butter. Yeah. But
I like the smile because you don't believe it.
I digress. But now hopefully it's easier for him because now he can really have a rock at third base. And that's a place you really need a defensive rock.
Yeah. The hot corner.
The hot corner.
I will say, someone's probably mentioned it in the comments already. It was really like unfortunate that Isaac's first game playing for us, he was he made the error that was the reason that the Cardinals tied the game and then ended up winning that game over us. Like, that to me was just, ooh, that's unfortunate. We're saying, guys, Morel's bad at defense. Yeah. And then the guy we bring in makes up an error his first game with us that loses us the game.
Get it out of the way early.
Yeah.
You know? It's like getting that first ding on a brand new car.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this, though. Cub fans out there that are mad. Things could be a lot worse. You want to know how much worse they could be, Tim?
Tell me.
We could be the White Sox. We could be, what, their 21 straight losses? Which, you want to hear something funny about that?
We're about to add to that.
Yeah, no. You want to hear the funny thing about it? So, if they lose tonight and tomorrow against the A's, they'll be at 23.
Yeah.
Then they play us. If they lose the next two, and then we beat them game one, not only will they have the record for the most consecutive losses, we'll be the team that put them there.
Sure. Yeah.
But to me, I hate to be that. I harp on the like every time the White Sox beat the Cubs, I get a million text messages, but that's going to feel good, Tim. That's going to feel really good if we get that chance. It's going to feel really good. Sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I really can't wait for that series. I haven't watched the Sox game all year.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how they are.
Tim really drawing that one out there for the Rumble listeners. you want a long? I want a long one. Yeah. Or do I just do where it's like the and then the beep?
Beep, beep.
Like, you didn't say the word, but then the actual word.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
But I've actually sadly seen the Sox more than the Cubs. Like, Cubs, I watched almost games. Every game. I've gone to 2 Sox games this year.
Yeah.
And they lost both times, which is good.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they lost to the Astros and they lost to the Orioles. Those are the 2 games that I've seen in person for the White Sox. But we made other moves as well, Tim. This team for the Cubs, we also bring in so we move on from Mark Leiter Jr.
Yes.
Who is now with the Yankees.
The Yankees.
And then, so I'm getting this name right, we made a trade with the Blue Jays to bring in relief pitcher, right-hander Nate Pearson.
I like this move a lot.
You do? Because to me, this was like kind of like I don't want to say a nothing burger, but it was more of like all right, let's see how he does. Like, can't be any worse than the bullpen we already have, right?
Right, yeah.
But you talk about, since you like it, I want to know why you like it. Sell me on it. Sell me on Nate Pearson.
I don't know if I can. I think I was thinking about somebody else. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the guy we got from the Yankees.
Okay. You're talking about
Neely.
Okay.
Neely,
then
I
don't
like as a
sell me
prospect.
on Nate Pearson.
I can't really tell you anything about Nate Pearson. He's got a 3.88 ERA right now. He's good for some setup stuff, maybe a middle relief spot here and there. I mean, we need arms in the bullpen, so I can't consider it's a bad move, but
any arm is better than the arms we have in the bullpen, right?
Yeah, if he's a halfway considered a veteran, that's fine with me. See what he does. Change sceneries can change players from slumps into hot streaks too, so, and vice versa, but I don't
you are right.
I don't really have anything else to say about Pearson. I'm sorry.
So you're right though, because like I'm looking at his and this is what I looked at when we got him, his stats from Toronto this year. I saw a 5.63 ERA and went, oh, how many games is he gonna blow? Like, how many games? Like, because I have trauma with our bullpen, Tim.
Oh yeah, of course.
I have trauma, and yet again, I would love to hear, like, after the season or how many days it takes for this to come out. There's one thing with this team that I wish Jed could have done. Get a closer. Get a guy that's like, he's our closer. Because that's the biggest thing I think we need in that bullpen.
You don't like Neris?
No. No, I don't.
Hodge?
I don't like Hector Neris this year. He gives me anxiety whenever he's in.
There's no
18
confidence.
blown saves before the All-Star break. That's what we were dealing with. Probably will deal with. Like,
Ugh.
what you said at the beginning of the podcast, I think is it. And I'll go ahead and reiterate it. Of basically pre-deadline, I was not confident that the Cubs are going to make the playoffs. Post-deadline, now what would this be? 7 days? We're recording this on the 6th, so 7 days post-deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not confident the Cubs make the the opinion hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
I am not confident that the Cubs make the postseason this year. Now, I will say, I'm not saying for like a fact of like some people are gonna say, "Oh, but Ricky, like you're just writing off the Cubs." And for sure in the division, let's go bottom of the first, Cubs up 3-0 as we're recording this.
Hey, all right.
The division, I think, is out of hand unless we go on some monumental hot streak. We're 9 games out of the division.
Yes,
And
we've
I
got
think-
a lot of games coming up against the division, though, too.
True. Good point. I mean, the Brewers are heating up. They're
Brewers are heating
6
up.
games ahead of second place.
We did smash the Cardinals pretty good.
You did. We did smash the Cardinals pretty good. Let's see.
Three
Right
out of
now-
4. I mean, and they were hitting.
Right now,
They were
entering
hitting-
today, no team except for the Rays, or not the Rays, the Reds,
Reds.
have a winning streak in the division, and right now it's only 1 game. They've only won
Sure.
1 game. So no one's really got a big winning streak in the division right now. The thing for the Cubs, though, it's like, okay, could this move help us in the wild card? And I don't even know if it does with that because we're 7 games out of the wild card. And I
True.
don't see teams like the Braves, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, or even the Mets slowing down.
No, and I don't think we got anybody lurking in the minors that would make a big ass impact when if we brought him up before. Obviously, September call-ups, we got some opportunity there, but
Yeah.
it's going to be bench guys that we bring up, maybe an extra bullpen arm.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think we make the playoffs. I think there's it's too big of a hill to climb, and too many things need to go right for us in terms of the other teams imploding. Kind of like you said, there's too many teams in front of us. They all have to do horribly for us to actually get a shot. And then once we get in there, I mean, we're kind of frauds too. You know, so we'll get bounced.
Tim
we'll
just
get bounced in the
spitting it
first
like
one.
it is.
We'll get bounced in the first wild card game. You know, we'll play the Braves or something like that. Or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
will-
don't think so. Unless something dramatically changes, PCA has to turn into a superstar. Paredes has to actually start hit. What happened? Did I just call it?
No. I wanted to look up what the 3 runs were. Tim, just like Nick Castellanos, you know, like if something bad happens in the world, Nick Castellanos does something. MVP talks bad about somebody. Paredes, 3-run home run. That's why we're up 3-0 bottom of the first. So see, all we needed, Tim, was to come on here and start talking bad about him. It's like Nick Castellanos, dude. This might be a record for the MVP curse.
Yeah. Can we hit that rewind button on the thing? I think the Cubs definitely make the playoffs, and I'll tell you why. Because Paredes is going to be the guy that's going to put us on his shoulders and take us there. I bet you he wins. I bet you he hits a home run this game.
Oh. That seriously
I can't
might
believe I
be
said that back then.
That might be an MVP curse record. If you guys are new to the MVP curse, usually we say something or record something, and either before we can post the podcast or shortly after we post the podcast, the opposite happens. Yeah. I remember Dave and I did a whole episode, Bradley Beal to the Suns, like, oh, could it happen? Will it happen? Before I could post it. That night, boom, Bradley Beal was traded. And I was like,
yeah.
Do we post it? And Dave's like, what do you think? No, we don't post.
It's almost like we should all lose our jobs.
Oh, man.
We
But
suck so bad.
what I was going to say is the one bright spot, I think, leading us into the next few series, Tim, is I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say up until Friday, September 6th, we have not counting the Twins, but after the Twins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 8 series leading up before September 6th. That'll be game 1 against the Yankees in Wrigley.
Yep.
I think out of the next 8 series after the Twins, only one of them is not winnable for sure. All 8,
Really?
though, could be winnable. And here's why. So after the Twins, we played 2 games against the White Sox. Yes, the Sox and the Cubs have tough matchups. I'm not going to write off the Sox completely, but the Sox are a dumpster. They are a dumpster fire right now.
I just took a quick peek at that schedule. I can't wait to hear what you're about to say.
Yeah. So White Sox, dumpster fire. We should be able to win 2. The Guardians, we go on the road to the Guardians. This is the one that I think is our hardest series until September 6th. This is probably the one series where we might lose it because the Guardians are a good team, and especially at home, They're a good team. They're 67-45 right now as recording. Like, they're a good team.
It's a pretty damn good record.
But then you look at the next few series. Number 1, we're playing 3 games in Toronto. Basically, this becomes whose bullpen's worse because both bullpens are terrible. As long as ours can hold up a little bit better than the Blue Jays, we should win that series. Then the Tigres at home, we should be able to win that series. The Marlins, even on the road,
hopefully.
We should be. If we lose that series, just pack it up. The season's done. We don't deserve to make the playoffs. If we get swept by the Marlins, we don't deserve the playoffs.
Not swept, but you like lose
even
the series?
like lose the series. Like if we lose 2 of 3, then the next 3.
Draft pick.
The Pirates is tough. The Pirates do play us tough. It'll depend on pitching matchups. But I think out of the last 3 of those series, 1 series against the Pirates at home, 1 on the road, we can win. We can win those series. It might not be a for sure like 80%, but the Cubs can win those series. They do play us tough though. And then the Nationals, we got a shot. The Nationals are kind of cooling down a little bit. Just a little bit. And that's all we need. Like the last 3 are probably the Guardians, the Pirates, and the Nationals are probably the hardest opponents.
And the Pirates again, But
Yeah. But we play the Pirates twice. So what, 4 of those series? Like, okay, I'm putting the Guardians for sure that we'll lose 2. But the Pirates and the Nationals, it might not be a for sure thing, but it's at least 50-50. They are definitely winnable series. But yet again, can we go on a hot streak by then and carry that into those series? Because then after that, we've got the Yankees and the Dodgers. Yikes and yikes. Then we get the Rockies. I know it's in Colorado, but okay, like the Rockies are beatable. Then the Oakland A's, which if it's right now, Oakland, yikes, because they seem unbeatable right now.
But that's at home though too.
Yeah, and then it's Nationals, Phillies, Reds, which is winnable, yikes, or winnable, yikes, not yikes, depending on how the Reds want to play.
Yeah. Okay,
definitely winnable series from now until the end.
You need them to get into a hot streak. I think they're kind of in the middle one right now.
Okay.
I mean, they've won 5 of their last 6.
Mm-hmm.
So if we wanted to start something and we're gonna run into August full speed with our new third baseman and Michael Busch hitting homers every other game, maybe this is the time for a push.
I mean, unfortunately,
you can't add any more tools, but.
Well, I know you wanted to give props to Michael Busch for his series against the Cardinals.
Absolutely. I mean, the guy is, when he's not hitting homers, he's hitting doubles and holding down first is pretty well. I think I saw him have a drop catch the other day, but big deal. I'm very excited about him. What's his name? Horner seems to be coming back around. Swanson had a few hits too. PCA, if we wanted to talk about a guy that resembles Baez more than Morel, I would say PCA. Because he strikes out a ton. And he just has that swagger about him too, but then just out of nowhere, he hits a triple, and then scores on a bunt that Amaya hits. And then Amaya goes deep in the other part of that game, which was awesome to see. I love that because that guy was really due. Yeah, overall, I think they've been hitting pretty damn well. Talkman had a homer in that series too. I think that was a Steele Mikolas game.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope Minnesota doesn't halt us like they're planning to.
You want to know
don't put us slam the big rust brakes on us, you know?
You know it's a big, big, big problem with the Cubs this year and why we might be in this position? Guess our record against the NL Central this year.
Like, I don't how many games?
If my math is correct, 33. No.
We're probably under
43,
15 wins.
43 total.
We're probably under 20 wins.
You're right.
Yeah.
17 and 26.
Yep.
That's not good. That is not that is not good. However, the thing that I just looked up with the Cubs,
a lot of
that's even worse. Right? Do you want to hear something even worse? Guess how many wins we have out of the total number of games would be 39. 39 total games decided by one run. What's our record in one-run games?
I'm sure it's awful. I remember this happening at the beginning of the year a lot. We were losing always by one run.
16 and 23.
That's disgusting.
However, extra inning games were 6 and 3.
Hey, get to the 10th, boys. They love that. They love that extra runner on second.
Yeah. However, we're not far off of our expected win-loss. Right now, our expected win-loss is 57 and 58, and we're 55 and 60.
Yeah. And,
so,
and
this is where this team should be.
And since the last time we podcasted, the Cubs have been doing better.
Yeah.
They have improved their record quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Still 5 games out of 500. I'd love to see them finish 500. That'd be a moral victory for me, but at what point do you say that us making the playoffs we would need a miracle?
Now,
like how close are you to that?
No, I'm there.
You're there now.
I'm there. We're not making the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, it's gonna need we're gonna have to become like the Moneyball A's. What was that? 2001, 2002?
Yeah.
Am I far off on
maybe?
that? The Moneyball A's.
You're right there. I think that was 01.
We're going to need that. 2002 A's. We're going to need to become them. And I don't think we can.
Probably not.
Not with our bullpen.
They still even lost to the Yankees. And so, I mean, we'll lose to the damn Reds.
Yeah, I just it's interesting to see how different our just thought process has gone beginning of the year. You're always excited about your team, Tim.
Oh, we
were very excited, and the Cubs got off to a good start.
Yeah,
but then it ended. It ended fast, and I'm gonna be honest.
It crashed quick.
I'm gonna be honest. Partial blame. I'm putting it on Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. Ever since they took that photo with Shota, it knocked him out of his rhythm a couple. No. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look.
I'm not looking at you.
Knocked him out of rhythm, and then that started the losing. Don't give me that look.
I'm looking at the audience.
Yeah, don't give me those baby blues. Those Brian Wilson deep baby blues. Your eyes are really blue, by the way, like as blue as the ocean. I don't know if you know that.
They're cubby blue.
They're cubby blue. But yeah, it just ended, and we became. It was almost like we were living a dream, and then we woke up one day.
What did we get to April 23rd, and then they sucked? I mean, we still had yeah, man. That was a crazy start to the season too, because so many people were hurt. And our backup guys were coming through that, we were like, remember Cody was hurt for a long time? And Steele obviously got hurt in the first game.
Yep.
And everybody was still just coming up and coming through. Imanaga turned to a superstar. And,
Imanaga's kind of got it back a little bit.
Yeah. And we thought that once everybody came back, it was just going to even be more gangbusters, but it wasn't. Everybody stopped playing for some reason.
Now, this will be a conversation for later in the season, but I'm going to pre-ask it now. If this team stays where they're at, finishes last place in the division, how much blame you putting on Double C?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot, because we weren't last year.
Yeah, we had arguably a worse coach in some people's mind.
Yeah.
Just by experience. David Ross is not an experienced manager.
No, and he didn't do what he was hired to do.
Now that I asked that question, we're gonna get a Brewer fan in the comment section again. Oh, see, I told you, this is the CC. This is Craig Counsell. You got what you paid for.
Whatever. We didn't hire him.
We got that comment in one of the podcasts where we talked about like Craig Counsell and like how he's been doing, and I remember that comment. Well, this is what you get. This is Craig Counsell. We're
not in charge of hiring coaches.
Well,
Jesus.
I guess it's my fault because I am in the front office.
I want to.
I guess it's my fault.
It is your fault. You know what? All right, fine. At least we have somebody to blame.
Because you always say I'm in the front office.
You are. So what's next for the front office? Who's the September call-ups? You get 2.
I don't think it matters. Like Cade Horton, but if his back is okay, like
yeah. Is that much is that much horizon for this team right now, Cubs fans? And it's sad to semi throw in the towel this quick.
I'll say this.
Move your mic a little bit.
If history repeats itself, Tim, it took Craig Counsell. Can't see my mouth.
Yeah.
It took Craig Counsell 4 years to finally make the playoffs with the Brewers. He was.
Oh, I can't wait that long.
He was a 44% wins, 45% wins, 53, and then finally that Brewer team in 2018 won the division
or something like that. Yeah.
Before losing in the championship series to the Dodgers. If history will repeat itself, he's ahead of schedule because the Cubs right now are at, well, they're even above that. Wikipedia still has them 47-51. Were there some games where he didn't manage?
No, even
because I didn't know if he not ejected,
even if he got thrown out
or
anything like that. No.
So he's ahead of schedule. Cubs are about 500, just below it, 2 games below 500. I think even a game below 500 if I'm doing my math right.
Fine, they're 5 games under 500.
No.
Yeah, they're 55 and 60. Yeah.
Are we? Yeah, you're right. You're right. So he's not that far off of being ahead of where he was.
True, but it does feel like a regression.
Yeah, it does. But yet again, I hope this is just a new place. He had some struggles year 1. And then year 2, it's like, okay, this is my team. I finally feel like it's my team. I have that repertoire with the boys. If it's not, changes should be made. Not after this season, but after next season.
Yeah.
We don't have time to wait.
Now, in defense of him, he can't take the at-bat for guys.
Yeah.
You know, like he can't make guys hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just by being like, hey, go up there and swing the bat and get a hit. And they're like, oh, good idea, Skip.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. So, you know, he can only put the guys out there that he can. I just think he did make some bonehead plays this year a lot. Moves. Yes, moves. Especially with personnel. Like, it seemed like he would bring up Masterboni when somebody else was hot, and then Masterboni would get hot, and then he'd send him right back down, and vice versa with a lot of other players. He lacked the confidence that he probably needed this year.
I got a question for you. I'm looking at the Cubs and their contracts, right? Cody Bellinger. He's got an opt-out this year.
Yeah.
Does he opt out or does he stay? His salary will be $27.5 million. Does he opt out, try to get more in free agency again? Or after this year, is he going to go, nope, I'll stay. 27.5 is probably, I'm not going to get that anywhere else.
He's sticking. Why leave?
Mm-hmm.
He's sticking. He bought a house here, you know, just stick it out for another 2-3 years, whatever his contract is.
So his contract
really sucks, unless he hates it being there. No, he's sticking around.
So his contract is he has an opt-out this year.
After this year and after next year.
And then he has a player option the year after.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
But the player
No, I think
option is 25 compared to 27.5 for the opt-out.
Yeah, but he's 30, isn't he?
Mhm.
Like he's not looking to gamble anymore. He's looking for the guaranteed money. In my opinion, that's what I would be doing.
Is he 30? He is. So he is 29. He just turned 29
Okay.
in July.
Still, same answer. I think he sticks around. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Not just because I'm a Cubs fan. It just makes sense.
Yeah. I'll ask you because I answered it. I don't know if you did. Are you at the point where you think we need a miracle to make the playoffs?
Yeah. Actually, I think it's too late.
So I'm holding out for a miracle. You're like, nah, it's done.
I'm with you, man, and I hope you give me that MVP curse. Let's do the MVP curse and say that there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way they make the playoffs.
There's no
way. No way the Cubs make the playoffs this year.
There's no way.
Tim's bit is how long can he make the beep now on YouTube? Rumble users are like, why is he doing that?
Oh, just playing around. I'll stop.
But Isaac, I hope that you start. I hope you start doing what you did today. Mm-hmm. 3-run home run.
It's a great start.
I hope this team plays better, but I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. We're not going to make the playoffs, and I think it's going to be an interesting offseason, Tim.
I hope so. It's. We'll get a decent draft pick. Tim,
is it bad that you and I, before the season, were like, oh man, at least this should be better than only the Bulls. It's not going to turn into a therapy session. And now I'm feeling very therapy session-y.
I know. I'm holding the bat as a comfort item.
You did do that. Hey, at least we're not the White Sox.
Now I got my cat.
At least we're not the. Could you? I'll put it this way, Tim. Would you rather have had the conversation we just had for about 40-some minutes, or would you rather talk about a team? Would you rather talk about your team losing 21 straight coming into this podcast? I feel like that would be a lot. That would be a harder podcast to do.
If this was a White Sox podcast right now, we'd already be talking draft.
In free agency. But then you'd go, who wants to come here anyway?
We'd be talking about next June.
I got a question for you to end the podcast. This has nothing to do with the Cubs. It has more to do with the White Sox. But I think it's an interesting thing in players in general. And this is what we'll end the podcast with. As a Cub fan, do you blame Garrett Crochet for doing what he did to the White Sox by the trade deadline? Basically, the day before the final day, him or his agent came out and said, number one, if you're a team that's going to trade for me, I'm not pitching in the postseason unless I get an extension. And number two, if you're going to trade for me and you want to put me in the bullpen, I won't pitch for you because I don't want to pitch in the bullpen. I don't want to lose my starter routine. And a lot of people were like, well, great, you just boned the White Sox because nobody wanted to trade for him because they weren't going to give him an extension and they probably wanted to put him in the bullpen.
Yeah. It's hard to take a side.
Yeah.
I get why he said what he said.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm already in hell.
Yeah.
If I'm going to the next place, it's going to be a place I want to go.
Yeah.
Why,
I totally
What were they going to get
it.
for him, though? I mean, yeah.
Minor leaguers, pitcher, the future?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Still a gamble.
Let's see. What did they get for? Because they traded Fetty to the Cardinals in a 3-team deal with it was them, the Dodgers, and Fetty, them, the Dodgers, and the Cardinals, and they got minor leaguers basically. I think minor leaguers in cash is what they got.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest though, with me, I kind of see where he was coming from because, like you said, A, I'm already in hell. B, I'm just gonna have to deal with all the logistics of moving somewhere to basically be like, well, I'm not going to get a house because I'm not going to get a contract here. So I don't know if I'm going to be here long term. Then basically go through free agency of it's just easier to say, hey, don't trade for me unless I get an extension, because then if I'm going to move, okay, cool, I'm moving here to stay here. Not moving here to live here for like 3 months of the year, 4 months, and then have to deal with all that logistics. So I understand how he was like, no, you're not going to give me an extension or you're going to put me in the bullpen. Just don't even bother.
I get it too.
I can get why White Sox fans are pissed about it though, because
I get that too. That makes sense. It's kind of a prima donna thing to do. Can't say that he hasn't earned that way of thinking though.
Mm-hmm. And it only sucks that we weren't going to trade for him.
Yep, that would have been nice.
Because we got the prospects to give up, but Tim, if we gave up yet again more great prospects to the Sox, and they turn out being good, I don't know how I would deal with myself.
Yeah, I know. That would be a tough pill to swallow.
Oh, but
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Our next podcast is in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Which would put us on the 20th of August.
The 20th?
Now, whether you want to...
Is it the 20th?
Yeah. Today's the 6th?
We're going to have to talk about that. I forgot. We're going to have to talk about
we might be moving days. Right.
Yeah.
But regardless, next 2 weeks, what do you think their record is? I know you're very optimistic about these series, so this is where I already did this before, and I'll do mine first if you want.
Yeah, because I got to pull up the schedule again.
I got us very conservative. I'm not going to count that Tuesday game, but let's count that Tuesday game.
Sure.
I had that as a win.
Today?
So I was going
I'm not going to count today because I...
No. I'm talking about... Oh, I am.
Today.
No, I'm counting today.
I'm not, because they're already up 3-0. I didn't even think about it. I guess I would have said yes because Shota's on the mound.
I did mine before.
Yeah.
Before the podcast. And then I'm counting that Tuesday, that first game against Detroit. I got us going 6-5. We have a winning record, but it's not stellar.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically we're
next 2 games against the Twins.
We're going all the way until the first game against the Tigers.
Yeah, and then I included that game.
2, 3, 4. I'll say 7 or 8.
Yeah?
7 or 8 for sure. Because here's why. We're obviously I would have said we were going to win today anyways, because Shota's first meeting with the team where they haven't seen him. Yeah. He's usually good. So I got us winning that game. I got us winning the second game against Cleveland, because that's going to be their first time seeing Shota. Mm-hmm. I got us sweeping the White Sox. We'll go at least two against the Jays. Could maybe sweep them, and then we'll beat the Tigers. So 7 or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4,
7,
5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 or 8. That's what I'll say. 7 or 8 wins in the next 2 weeks. Should be interesting though. This team, let's get on a hot streak. No way they make the playoffs, right, Tim? No way they make the playoffs.
I'd like to see what the fans have to say in the comments. Are we crazy for thinking that it needs to be a miracle, or are they on the beginning of a major hot streak?
Well, Tim, that's what we call
in the comments, right?
That's what we call a segue in the biz. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Also, hit that like button, that subscribe button. Check out our Patreon page, Discord channel in the description, along with all of our social medias. Tim, it's great doing our podcast with you.
One last one.
Go ahead. One last one for the new Ray, Mr. Christopher Morel. But that is going to do it. Did you just acknowledge? Did you do one of these?
I sure did.
He acknowledged his tribal chief of Roman Reigns out there. But that is going to do it for us. Thank you guys for everything you do. Tim and I will be back in 2 weeks. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Adios.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.